Hi, I'm Nick and I'm with Fishbowl Software. We're a technology consulting team that helps companies solve complex, custom, and sometimes just plain weird technical problems. If your business logic doesn't fit a one-size-fits-all solution, that's where we come in. In our last video, we showed you how to connect an ASP.NET Core web API to multiple database providers, SQL Server, MySQL, Postgres, and more, all controlled from the configuration. That was a powerful first step, but it only gets us so far. Because in real-world projects, you're not just connecting the database, you're writing the migrations too, and that's where things get tricky. You might assume, like I did, you can write your EF Core migrations once and apply them to any provider at runtime. But that's not how EF Core works. The migration scripts themselves are generated in the dialect of the database provider at the time of creation, which means if you support multiple providers, you need to create multiple sets of migrations, one per provider. In this video, we're going to show you exactly how to do that, cleanly, safely, and in a way that scales. The full working demo is on GitHub, the link's in the description, and if you haven't seen part 1 yet, we recommend checking that out first. You'll find the link below for that as well. Have questions as we go? Drop them in the comments. Need help thinking through your specific setup? Reach out. Our contact info is in the description. And if we're not the right fit, we'll point you to someone who is. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to build out from where we left off in the last video. We're going to start by creating a new project called demo.multipledatabaseproviders.migrations. This is going to serve as our startup project for generating migrations. In this case, we're using another web API project, not because it needs to be one, but because it comes pre-wired with dependency injection and configuration handling. You could use the original API project, but I prefer to keep the migration logic separate, cleaner, easier to maintain. Go ahead and remove the default weather forecast boilerplate. We won't be using it. Next, create 2 new class library projects, demo.multipledatabaseproviders.migrations.sql, demo.multipledatabaseproviders.migrations.mysql. You don't technically need separate projects for each provider, but again, splitting them out makes it easier to read and manage in the long term. Remove the auto-generated files in both projects. Now, let's get all the required NuGet packages. Install Entity Framework Core in all 3 packages. In the MySQL migrations project, install pomelo.entityframeworkcore.mysql. As we mentioned in the last video, we prefer Pomelo for its better support and cleaner versioning, though Oracle's package is also available. In the SQL Server migrations project, install Microsoft.entityframeworkcore.SQL Server. Again, be sensitive to your versions. In the migration startup project, you're going to need to install Microsoft.entityframeworkcore.design and Microsoft.entityframework.tools. These are what allow Entity Framework Core to actually generate the migrations via the CLI. Now let's set up all the references. In the main migration project, add project references to the data project and the domain project, as well as both the MySQL and SQL Server migration libraries. Then, in each migration library, reference the data project as well. This ensures they have access to the shared blog context. Next, let's configure the app settings. In the migrations project, rename appsettings.development.json to appsettings.sqlserver.json. Then create a new appsettings.mysql.json. Copy over the appropriate connection settings from your API project, and don't forget to change to a provider and set a version for MySQL. Now let's go ahead and add a folder called factories. And inside of it, we're going to create a class called the blog context factory. We're copying this from our GitHub repo. Update any namespaces as needed. This factory looks very similar to what we built in the API, it just enables design time creation for the context of your migrations. Now, set demo.multipledatabaseproviders.migrations as your startup project. Set the environment variable ASP.NET Core_environment to SQL Server. Then open the package manager console and add migration, targeting the migrations.sql project. You can specify an output directory if you want, but we'll skip that for now. After running the command, you should see the generated migrations in the SQL project. Now, let's do the same for MySQL. Change the environment variable to MySQL and rerun the migrations command, this time targeting the MySQL migrations project. And just like that, you now have provider-specific migrations for both SQL Server and MySQL. If you compare the two, you'll see the dialect differences. SQL Server uses unique identifier, while MySQL uses char36 for our ID field. This is exactly why we can share one set of migrations across providers. Now, you want to see how easy it is to add support for Postgres? You already know the pattern. Create a class library called demo.multipledatabaseproviders.migrations.postgres. Install Entity Framework Core, Now install the npgsql.entityframeworkcore.postgresql library. That's a mouthful. Add a new appsettings.postgres.json. Add a dummy connection string in here. Update your blog context factory to handle Postgres. You also need to add Postgres to your supported providers enumerator. You want to reference the Postgres library from your migrations project, set the environment to Postgres, and rerun the migrations command. And just like that, you have Postgres support. Entity Framework Core will write the migrations in PostgreSQL dialog. Finally, once your migrations are built, you can apply them by targeting the correct provider's database in your deployment or your CLI workflow. So, to recap, Entity Framework Core migrations are provider-specific. You can't write them once and apply them everywhere. You need to generate a separate migration for each provider: SQL Server, MySQL, Postgres, using the proper tools and startup contexts. But once you've got the structure in place, supporting new providers is easy. Thank you for watching. We're Fishbowl Software. We help teams solve weird, messy, technical problems that don't come with a plug-and-play answer. If you need a consultation, you want a sanity check and architecture decision, or just talk through a challenge, send us an email. It's in the description. And if we're not the right fit, we can point you to someone who is. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Did this video help you? Please like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.